Hey comic book fans, I'm Spider-Man 1991, and obviously you like comics as much as I do, which is why you're watching this video. I'm going to be talking about all the comic books I read for the week of November 19th, 2014. Let's get started. First off, the only comic I get monthly, or rather bi-monthly whenever it comes out from Image, Invincible, number 115. In this issue, Battle Beast takes on the former Viltrumite leader Thrag, who's currently living and conceiving and raising an army of his children on the bug planet that Nolan once stayed on, Thrax, which is, I believe it's called Thrax. It's also the planet where Oliver was born. So obviously we're going to be dealing with so obviously Thrag is going to be raising an army for that creatures that are similar to Oliver, half Viltrumite, half Thraxian. Okay, this is mostly filler issue. If you did not read, this is something that they do, Invincible does, that at the end of every single story, after every big story arc, there's just a single issue of filler, and there is foreshadowing, but overall, you can skip it. Starting off with DC Comics, we have Batman and Robin, number 36. This is a very action-packed issue, as we have Batman in the Hellbat armor, we got the Bat family with the special Robin armor that Alfred made them, and Cyborg all going up against Kalibak, destroying the, well, not really destroying, but dismantling the Chaos Cannon so that they can free Damian's body. Unfortunately, though, when Cyborg starts to dismantle it, he gets like some sort of feedback shock, and then Darkseid shows up on the last page. And of course, we don't actually see Darkseid, it's really just a shadow sort of appearing like over Batman, and all Batman has to say is, "I was wondering when you show up." So really, that was definitely a strong point to end this issue. Next issue will be the final part. Robin Rises is going to conclude next month in Batman Robin number 37 and Robin Rises Alpha. So hopefully, and obviously Darkseid will be involved, which is going to be awesome. Because whenever you put Batman and Darkseid in a room together, shit's gonna go down. Because I honestly think that Darkseid probably only respects Batman as, well, let me put it this way: Batman is the only human that I think Darkseid would ever respects. Because every time I think of Batman and Darkseid, I think of when he almost destroyed Apocalypse with the Hellspores, and in the Supergirl story arc of Superman Batman, and when Batman shot him towards the end of Final Crisis. So really, I'm really looking forward to the next issue. I strongly recommend fans of Damian Wayne check out the Robin Rises story arc. I don't know when it's going to be collected, but I'm pretty sure you can still find all the issues that have led up to this story arc so far. So overall, Batman and Robin number 36 is definitely a buy. Next up, Justice League number 36. This issue takes place 24 hours after the last one, and the Mesovirus has spread all over Metropolis, but fortunately Argus arrived and the city is now quarantined. However, though, there are some casualties. Several citizens, almost a dozen, nearly every citizen is infected by the virus, and it's causing them to have superpowers, but eventually, though, the virus will kill them. And also, the only active leaguers are Luthor, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman, because the rest of the league is all affected by the virus. Superman and Wonder Woman aren't affected because their physiology is different. Luthor and Batman were near the blast, if you remember the last issue, so they were able to save themselves and construct some suits to keep the virus out. Also, and pretty much for this issue, Luthor and Wonder Woman are talking to Steve Trevor and Argus, and Luthor is explaining how he was able to somehow created the virus through experiments he did on the Amazo android. And meanwhile, in Metropolis, Superman and Batman are searching for Patient Zero so that they can capture him and bring him back to the camp so that they can figure out a cure for the virus. But they do find Patient Zero at the at the end of the issue, but it looks like it's going to be a lot harder to bring him to the camp. Okay. I really did like this story arc. I think it's a very interesting reimagining that Jeff Johns is doing to Amazo. I mean, traditionally Amazo was an android built by Dr. Ivo who can replicate all the powers of any superhuman he fights, and Luthor was able to replicate a virus to that. And it's not like people are developing powers similar to the Justice League. No, it's random powers. Like, one guy can breathe fire. Like, as we saw in this issue, one guy could breathe fire, and another guy could create black holes. So yeah, it's very interesting. I would definitely recommend picking up Justice League because really, also this book does read well as kind of a good disaster movie type, virus outbreak type movie. So if you like any of so those are the reasons why I recommend buying Justice League number 36. Starting off Marvel, we have one of my favorite books, Amazing Spider-Man number 10, Continuing Spider-Verse. This is pretty much the point in the event where we get the explanation to all the different tie-ins that are going to be happening with this event. The Spider-Woman series, the Scarlet Spider series, and even the story arc that's going to be going on in Spider-Man 2099 during this event. Because basically what happens is the issue opens up with Miles Morales and Jessica Drew under attack from Verna and her hounds, but fortunately they're saved by the Superior Spider-Man, a punk rock Spider-Man, and the Assassin Spider-Man. And they bring them back to Superior Spidey Space in 2099, where shortly the Spider Heroes, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man 2099, and Earth 616 Peter Parker are brought to the Superior Spider-Man's hideout to kind of meet up with them. Unfortunately, when they get there, oh yeah, and also Silk kind of hitched a ride back with them, which was unfortunate because Silk apparently gives off a strong signal to them because she is the bride, so to speak. And basically once she arrives, suddenly they're attacked by Deimos. Fortunately though, Superior Spider-Man is able to kill Deimos, but suddenly he reappears along with with his other brother and sister who are twins, and they start fighting, and it's pretty much an all-out brawl at that point. And during the fight, though, everyone pretty much splits off into their own separate portals. Ben Reilly, Kane, and Ultimate Jessica Drew go into one portal to investigate the Inheritors' cloning, because they figured out that the reason Deimos obviously came back is that they can clone themselves. So Scarlet Spiders go to investigate that. Silk heads off on her own to try to keep the Inheritors off the rest of the Spider-Men. And as Silk heads off, she's joined by Spider-Woman of Earth 616 and Spider-Man Noir, which will be covered in Spider-Woman's own series. And the Six-Armed Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2099 stay in 2099 so that they can figure out what to do with Deimos' corpse. All the other Spider-Men go back to Earth 13. Like I said, this is the event where you see what leads to all the different Spider-Man tie-in series that are going on with this event. Also another interesting thing about this issue was this is where Peter Parker realizes that Otto Octavius is still alive. Otto Octavius is still Superior Spider-Man at this point, which is very interesting. And you see all the other characters, even Miles Morales' reaction to this. Like, they're all confused. Like, they ask Peter, like, wait, why is Otto here? And then Peter remembers, well, there was a point in time where Otto was missing, so this is probably what happened. And also Miles even remembers seeing Superior Spider-Man when he paid a visit to Earth 616 during Cataclysm, and then he talks to Peter about it, and he's confused. And of course, Miles is surprised and confused about this as well. So yeah, I have to say though, this event, it's still very entertaining. It's still fun seeing different versions of Spider-Man. As far as the rest of the tie-ins for this event, the only other Spider-Man series I'm getting that's going to be involved in this event is Spider-Man 2099. I don't know if I'm going to get the rest of them. I mean, maybe if I hear some good things about them, I might get them, but other than that, not too sure. But no, overall, this issue does give you a taste of the tie-ins for the event, and it also is still a fun and interesting issue with all the different variety of Spider-Man. So overall, I would say Amazing Spider-Man number 10 is definitely a buy. Daredevil number 10. This was a very well written issue. It opens up with Daredevil, who, after a mind attack by the Purple Children, the Children of the Purple Man, is pretty much experiencing depression, very heavy depression at this point. And the way that writer Mark Waid is able to convey this is just so brilliant. It opens up with, at first we kind of see like these visions of color Daredevil's having, but then they start fading away into panels of pitch black. And then on the last panel, we see it's pitch black again, but we see like a little tiny sketch of Daredevil in a fetal position. And then we cut back to reality where outside Daredevil's head, where we see Purple Man about to beat him to death. But fortunately, Matt is able to recover himself a little bit and fight back. Then he heads over to see his girlfriend, Kristen McDuffie, at the office, and she helps heal his wounds. And then he goes back to find the Purple Children, who are pretty much at like a giant play place and stuff. And of course, as soon as Matt figures out where they are, so does Purple Man. He starts like attacking the kids and tying them up, but Matt's able to save one of them, and he's able to alert the police to Purple Man's location and turn up the music in the play place so that way it drowns out Purple Man's voice and gives the cops enough time to arrest the Purple Man. In the end, though, the kids are separated, and as soon as they're separated, their skin starts turning back to normal, and they're all given counseling. And also, Christian asks Matt, "Are you okay after all of this? I know you weren't feeling too well." And he says, "I'm fine, don't worry about it." But as soon as he gets home, he just kind of like sulks into his bed, obviously still feeling depressed and stuff. And this was my favorite part of the issue. You thought that was the last page, and they even had it was even on the left side of the book, and they had the letters to the editor on the other side. Then as soon as I turned the page, there was a whole nother part of the story where we see Matt then reaching for his phone. He calls Kristen and he asks her, "I'm really not feeling well. Do you mind coming over?" And she responds, "I never left." And she's right outside his door, and he unlocks it for her, and she says, "Thank you for letting me in." That was just so great. This was definitely I really thought this was a very good, well-written issue. The way that the book was able to convey Daredevil's feelings of depression at the beginning, and also at the end, the way that he lets Kristen in, I thought that was very well done. And honestly, this issue alone proves why this book is so great, why it's done so well, and why people always say it's good. Honestly, I would just say get the last issue so you understand what's going on, but last issue and this issue are definitely a buy. Seriously, if you're not reading Daredevil, you need to start reading this book. It's awesome. Guardians of the Galaxy number 21. Flash Thompson starts losing control of the Venom symbiote. Gee, who didn't see that coming? And now the Guardians of the Galaxy are pretty much forced to remove the symbiote off him. Thankfully, Tony Stark gave Star-Lord a device before they left Earth after picking up Venom and Miss Captain Marvel. And while they're headed back to Earth to drop Flash off, the team starts debating what they should do with the symbiote now. And they're all trying to decide whether or not they should give it to Tony Stark or they should just launch it in deep space. However, when they're arguing about this, Rocket is looking for some stuff that they can use to make a bigger container for the thing. But unfortunately, the symbiote breaks out and it attaches itself to Groot. And the last page is a venomized Groot saying, "I am Venom." And that's what happens. This right here basically feels like filler. It really is. Venom losing control of the symbiote. It's not really anything new, but they have said for the story arc they are going to go to the symbiote's home planet. So that might be a little interesting. But really, I don't think that Venom is going to be off the team after this story arc, because some solicitations for the story arc, The Black Vortex, showed Venom still a part of the Guardians. So I feel like they're going to try to figure out a way to get the symbiote to be more in control, or Flash to be more in control of the symbiote. But honestly, if you are a fan of Venom, I would just say, honestly, Venom fans really just need to borrow this from a friend. They do not need to buy it. That's really the best thing I can describe this book, is just borrow it from a friend. Magneto number 12, the final tie-in for Axis. The first half of this issue is basically just a recap of the events of Axis issue 3, but they're basically from Magneto's perspective. After the battle where Scarlet Witch casts the inversion spell, Magneto starts moving away from the heroes when suddenly he gets a telepathic message from Charles Xavier. And basically Charles Xavier shows up and it is pretty much telling Magneto that humankind is in danger, Magnus. The mutants need a champion and a shepherd, someone to help guide them. I need that to be you. And of course, but unfortunately the message does get a little interrupted, but then Magneto just hears this and he goes, Charles, I need... says, I understand now, Charles. I understand the fear you felt. I will do this. I will make sure that your dream comes true. However, as soon as Magneto leaves, the message continues, and then Charles says, unfortunately, Magnus, I'm not sure if you're going to get this message, but I just want to say that basically what I'm saying is you were right. And then after Magneto continues walking, he finds some of the mutants who were still from the concentration camp the Red Skull had, and he removes their inhibitor collars and promises that he'll help them. And however, though, from afar we see that the memory of the Nazi general that Red Skull helped create, Herr Hitzig, is watching Magneto. So obviously he's sticking around. Honestly, you do not need to really, if you're reading Axis, you do not need to get this issue. But if you're not, I would say get it, because the real thing that I loved about this issue was the conversation between Magneto and Ghost Charles Xavier. And I know my impression probably made the two felt like the same impression, and yeah, that's something I need to work on. But it was a very good message, and I think that if you're not reading Axis, then you should definitely buy this issue. But if you are reading Axis, just borrow this issue from a friend so you can see the conversation between Magneto and Charles Xavier. Moon Knight number 9. Mark Spector makes an appointment with his psychiatrist to get more information about her activities in the events of the last 2 issues. And through hypnosis, both of them explore each other's memories. The psychiatrist sees Mark's memories of Egypt and his connection to the moon god Khonshu, and also Mark is able to see the Doctor's childhood village and how General Lore attacked her village and slaughtered her people and killed her mother and sister. And interesting enough, though, Mark is able to become Moon Knight and interact in the memories and is almost ready to kill General Lore, but he refuses. And at that point, the Doctor is also able to explore Mark's memories. And when she does this, she's able to get basically able to sever Mark's connection with the Moon God and basically take the connection for herself. And after that, the hypnosis ends, and then Mark regains consciousness in the Doctor's office, but she's gone. And then he notices her computer's still on, and he sees a hit list she wrote, and Mark kind of realizes, wait, why would she leave this right in the... Oh shit. And suddenly a bomb started... Suddenly we see a countdown clock for a bomb under the desk, and right as it goes off, and Mark is unfortunately able to get out of the room in time, and the bomb goes off. Okay, this is definitely a very mind-boggling issue, very trippy stuff. It is very interesting seeing these two go through their memories and able to interact like that. That was pretty much similar to Inception in a way. Also, we do get some more information about the Doctor, about Spectre's psychiatrist, who at first we saw in the first issue she seemed like another psychiatrist. Now she's like this really vindictive woman who's basically trying to kill people out of vengeance. So yeah, that is very interesting. Overall, this is definitely a very impressive series Marvel has right now. I mean, every issue of Moon Knight I have enjoyed, so it's a great series, and I think that anyone who And it does change the standard. It's not really your standard superhero comics. So if you like comics that feature superheroes, but they're not the general, superhero formula, then I would definitely recommend you check out Moon Knight for that very reason. Because overall, the entire series is definitely a buy. And that's it for my comic review this week. Thank you again for watching. I am sorry this video is up late again. I'm sorry I really got distracted this weekend when Pokemon Omega Ruby came out. That's what I've been doing all day. Also, I will not be posting another review next week due to Thanksgiving and travel and all that. Just to give you a heads up, there's why there won't be a review next week. Again, also, what did you guys think of the comics this week? Do you agree or disagree with my opinions? What did you guys get this week? What was your favorite comic book? Let me know in the comments below. Also, thanks for subscribing, whether you're an old subscriber or a new subscriber. And I know this is... So, overall, thanks again for watching, and have a happy Thanksgiving. Later.